Hey everybody, it's Kenny Conklin from sci-fi-fantasy.com, and today we're going to be doing another video finishing up on the Cadet Series. Well, not finishing up, but going to the second build of the Cadet Series, the Klingon Battleship. We'll be working on that guy, and so let's get right over to the bench because I really got nothing else to say besides that and show you what we're doing. Okay, well, I haven't cleaned up the workbench since the last one, and I'm not going to clean it up until I'm done with this guy, because I don't like a messy workbench. So this is the guy over here. We're working, I put the neck together, and then this is the second half of the ship. I put the little pieces on the top already, which go on really quick. There's not many pieces to the build. And then we got the bottom half of the body itself. But I need to put this like I did with this guy. I need to put him on something to hold him up when I put him on the base. So what I use is brass rod, which is right here, and I just don't remember the size. I want to say 1/16 scale, but yeah, it's 1/16 round brass rod. It's perfect for these little guys. And the last one I think I did 5 inches, so I don't know how big I'm going to do this guy. It really doesn't make a difference. I always can cut him down for the base. So just measure out what you want with these little guys. I think I did the last one 5 inches. I'll do this guy 6 inches. Just mark him off. You don't need any special tools or anything like that. Just pair of side cutters, dikes, whatever you call them. Snip that guy and he goes flying, and you got yourself a nice little rod to hold these guys up. You don't need anything really big unless you're going to try to be the Miracle Man and light one of these. You're really not going to need that much. So the first thing I wanted to do actually with these guys is I want to put the post in, so I can deal with that and close all this up, and then get on putting this guy on and puttying him up. Whoop! I put him on backwards, because when you put this half on, you're gonna have a pretty big seam to fill on both sides. So we'll get this guy done. So let me get stuff set up and I'll be right back. Okay, the first thing you want to do is you want to figure out where you're going to put the rod or the pipe or whatever you're going to use if it's a bigger ship, because you don't want to lose that much detail, and you want it in a good spot to hold up the ship. This one's a little tiny guy, so it's no big deal, but I still want to be able to hold up the ship. Now when you're looking at it like this, you really can't see where anything is on the inside, but if I hold it up to the light, which you're not going to be able, well, you can see right there, I can see where the pin is, so I know I want to put my little rod right a little higher than that. So I'll just mark that guy off once I hold it up, and that's pretty much centered. Just going to use my Dremel with the 1/16 inch bit, which actually leaves it a little more open than the rod itself. And that's because rods and pipes are cut differently. You have different cuts, like a 1/16 inch inside diameter or an outside diameter. Oh, I almost messed that up. Bingo. And that's that. I got my little hole for the rod, and then like I said, this guy's gonna fit in there just like that, but he's not gonna be that high. So now let me get the stuff next up that I'm gonna get ready to put this together, and I'll show you how I hold it in place. Okay, basically all I did was take 2 pieces of masking tape. I put them on there, and I'm rubbing this down really good to create a barrier, because what I am going to use is dental acrylic, or not dental acrylic, nail acrylic, and the the polymer, and the liquid to set up the dental acrylic. So anyway, I put that on there. This way when I put the liquid on, it doesn't drip all over the place, and when I put the powder on the inside, I'm not going to lose it all over the place too. We don't want to lose stuff. It's not a good thing. So all I'm going to do is take the rod and hopefully not pierce my hand and jiggle them right through the masking tape, just to hold them in place. You're going to end up having to hold this a little bit, but it's not too bad. And then I keep a piece of styrofoam on my board to shove that guy in there. No, he wasn't straight. And then what I'll do is I'll show you in a second. We're going to put the powder in there. I'll hold this guy up. It's a little difficult, but I'll hold him up, put the powder in there, and then we'll do the acrylic. So let me start getting this set up and I'll show you that. Okay, because you don't want to sit there for about 15 minutes with the model in your hand waiting for the acrylic to dry. You could try to prop it under something like I did. I just used 2 Tamiya thinner bottles to hold them up straight. Now when you're doing this, you can do it the hard way and just throw acrylic in a little pile and try to wet it down, and hopefully it stays in place. Or just usually what I do with the smaller guys is I take a piece of masking tape, roll it up into a little cylinder, put it around the brass rod, and then fill it up. A little bit is going to come out from underneath, but there's not much you can do about that. So what I use is, I know you guys seen it already, but it's just what the ladies use for their nails in the nail salons. It's really good stuff. This has lasted me a while. I got to get another jar of this, but I'm going to get the bigger one. This one cost me like $6 or $7, but they have a huge one for like $20 at the warehouse by me. So I got to pick that guy up. So you're just going to take anything, a spoon, a little spatula, and just dump and dump and dump until you fill this guy up. Now when you fill it up this high with the liquid, you're really going to have to soak it so it gets all the way to the bottom and fills this guy up. Anything that doesn't get wet, just like anything else we use, pigments or anything like that, you can scoop it up and put it back in to the container, and you can use it again. It's not going to go bad if it's just sitting on the side, but if it does get wet, then it's gone. Now the other stuff, the liquid that you use to harden this stinks to high heaven. So if you don't like bad smelling stuff, I suggest you use a mask with it. And this is just the nail liquid they use. Ooh, there it is. And I used the wrong eyedropper. And then you're just going to take this solution and you're going to put it in there and let it soak on down. If you want, you can actually, ooh, I spilled some. You can actually take a toothpick or something else, a needle, anything you got. I gotta remember to throw that one out because I don't want to use that on my models again. And poke it down some so the liquid gets into all of the acrylic. Just mush and mush and mush and mush and mush. I want to make sure that's not too high compared to the post over there. Okay, so now this got to set up and dry, and then we'll be back. Okay, well, it's been about 5-10 minutes. We let this, the first one in modeling, things get messed up. The first one I made a little too high. I wasn't paying attention, so I had to lower it, which is no big deal. I just clip off the bar, pop it out, or bring the new one in. But now we got this guy on here, solid as a rock. I tried to take the tape off, but it got stuck to the acrylic. If you can see, it's actually crystal clear, and this stuff is great to use for thin windows and stuff like that if you're gonna be using it for other things. And then I can just take the tape off, and there's nothing through the bottom. A little putty and a little razor action to get the rest of the tape off that, but boom, solid. You just got to make sure that when you're doing it, the liquid gets all the way to the bottom of this guy, because if you don't reach the bottom, you're just going to have powder, and when you go to grab it, everything's going to fall off. You got to make sure that it sticks to the other plastic, and that thing is solid as a rock. That ain't going anywhere. So now we get to go on to building this thing. Not a bad deal with these little guys. So the next part up is just slapping. I'm gonna get more Tamiya thin cement. Just slapping the top on there, getting that in place, and then it's going to be off to doing the filling and sanding and all that other good stuff. I think this thing was a total of maybe 8 or 9 parts or something like that. And bingo, and bingo, and that guy is in there. 1, 2, 3. You can see the gaps that we're going to have to fill. The pole is in there, the rod. No pushing up from the rod because we have it set at the right depth. And then we'll get to puttying this guy up. So I'll be right back. Well, before I started puttying, I noticed that the back of the ship had a very big gap in between the top and the base itself. So right now I'm holding it shut. Hopefully the glue will hold it, and then I'll throw a little putty on there and we'll get rid of that seam too. Okay, next up is puttying the seams on this guy. This way we could get rid of that, and we don't have to look at that ugliness when we paint it. I use Bondo glazing and spot putty. This is the 1-part putty. There is a 2-part, which is more like for thicker stuff. Like when on the bigger kit of this, there's a huge gap in between the leg here and the top of the body. This, you'd have to use lots, and you could do it with this. It'd take a long time, but you can do it with this. But it's better to use the 2-part because it's harder and you can sand it more to shape than this guy. So I just use this, and I go overboard with how much I put on, I know, and I do more sanding. But like with small stuff like this, I just put some on and I usually wipe it off to get it into the gap. And I just use a toothpick. Or I don't know where I put it because I have everything all over the desk. I usually care right on the tip and then wipe it around, or I use my spatula. As you can see, it's red from using the putty a lot. And then the usual, just go around, smush it into the gap. And this stuff dries quick and sands very, very easily. That's all I do, is I mush it in that gap. I might have to do it a couple times to get rid of the seam, but eventually it'll go away. So I'm going to putty this guy up. You don't need to sit here for 10 minutes watching me go around, and I'll be back. Okay, well, we got her all puttied up and sanded down. As you can see where the red is to fill in the gap. A little bit there. I just got to do the underneath one over there. So that guy's that guy right there, or right there, wherever I may put it in, is pretty much all bondoed up. And now the next guy is the neck. Let's see if I can get him close enough and in focus. Down the neck of it, there's a big, not a big gap, but there's a seam that's got to be sanded down. It's really hard to see on video. And on the underneath, over here on this side and this side, have to be puttied in, and a gap over here, which I'm going to lose detail on because there are lines here. But this is going to be underneath, and it's really at the top of the neck where the neck meets the body of the ship. So you're not gonna see that too much. Me personally, I'm not one to super detail something that's not going to be seen. I'm not going to waste time or effort when I could make the model look better in a different way than say, you know, super detail a cockpit or something inside of here. Then it's just going to get closed up. That's just, to me, a waste of time and energy if somebody's not going to see it. But everybody likes their own way to build. My personal taste is, if you're not going to see it, I'm not going to super detail anything or try to overly detail something. So let me get on this, and that'll probably be it for the night. Once this guy's done up, you'll see him in the next video with the puttied up and stuff like that. Okay, boys and girls, that's it for me for the night. Like I said, I'm not going to have you watch me putty this and sand it down and stuff. You've seen that all in the beginning of the last one. Once that's done, I'll throw the neck on, and the next video is going to be about priming, getting the guy smooth, and the paint job, which is going to be me asking questions about the paint job again, because this ship actually, there's a lot of different thoughts on how it's painted, from the original on Star Trek to what people perceive it to be as gray, or it's a purple and a green. So we'll see which way we want to paint it, and then we'll go from there. Thank you everybody for stopping by and watching another video. I hope you stop by sci-fi-fantasy.com, check out the articles. If you have articles you want to put in there, photo features, reviews, or stuff like that, just get a hold of me. And I hope you come join the community and help us grow and get bigger. Thanks a lot everybody. Have a good night. Bye-bye.